All right, welcome back. This we're gonna be covering up blue in the changing Diva set review. This is the last and final color, and there's quite a bit to talk about. The card quality in blue is pretty good overall, because blue is like not a good color, but a lot of the cards in here are good. And as usual, I have Tetra and Eden, the suspects.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
And yeah, we're gonna go down the list as normal. Once again, this is just the ratings that we do. 1 through 5. Please be kind to us. These are just our opinions. We have been in this format for a little bit, so we do have like more or like less biased opinions towards like these not being like new cards because a lot of us have like been able to play it and stuff like that. But yep, let's jump into the first card here. We got Madoka Vogue 3. This is Madoka's center. Um, so it's diagram and then has the once per turn. When your opponent discards a card by your effect, you draw a card or enter charge 1. And on play, draw 3, ditch 2. So it's Chime of the Bus key on play, and then it has the diagram once per turn. You can bounce one of your level 1 diagram outrigs back into your deck. And so, and to note, the once per turn is also on both players' turns. So if you happen to hit like a life burst or something, it will work if it makes your opponent discard a card. I think this card's pretty. I think this card's pretty nuts for like a blue focus like discard deck. It gives like a good payoff. And as you can see in the ceremony, it did place first place. Um, and with this like the whole diagram package as a whole, being able to like discard and have removal at this like at the same time, uh, appeared to be like very strong. But the deck does suffer some consequences of being like more primarily into blue as opposed to not being like more black and more or even more green focused, which can be a problem. But I don't know. Let me kind of want to hear what you guys think about it.
What I think is just it's really good for what you're supposed to do with it. So try to pull off as many Hichikata plays you can. So you have that Chime of the Blesky effect there, and you're already play one to enable Hichikata, which we'll look later. And yeah, it doesn't feel bad at all. You still have the diagram return one level one diagram rig, which is very good because you still have to push some damage and kind of want to do that through Sangha level 1 to give Lancer. Yeah, even the first effect is kind of good and really depend. Like you can enter charge if you need. You can draw card if you need. Is maybe not the best out there, but he is flexible and he's just a good effect. One more effect you have that is kind of cool, kind of flexible. Yeah, I actually played Madoka and see Madoka being played, and yeah, I think the deck for what it does, it's really cool and kind of solid, and I really like Madoka.
Yeah, for me, I play diagram. I love diagram. I even thought about changing from Musica to Madoka. As you said, the effect about the effects and everything. The only thing I guess I have to like you guys mentioned it, the enter ability to just put your AGKs online just the once per turn. You're making your opponent discard, so you can just get resources out of it. The return, the level one diagram rig, it's just the usual. I just feel like I tried. I haven't playtested much, but like a Madoka discard plus mill hybrid, I've been working around with that. I just feel like with Hijikatas and all of that, you get a better early game than what you have in Musica Center. I just think this is like a nice card overall, and I really like to play around with it. It just changes
Yeah,
a
I
lot,
think
a bit.
the only thing I have to like say about this card, like in comparison to Musica Center, is like if we were to compare both like just the two, I do think Musica is still like better. and that's why I'm not gonna rate this thing a 5. But it's definitely like meta relevant, but I still think Musica is better, and that's just because they have access to clap, and this deck doesn't. They have to play the Musica, like we talked about in the in the previous video. And so
That's true.
yeah, I
I don't
think
want the 5 to be too restricted to some stuff, so I'm just gonna give a 5 just because it's not a bad deck at all. Yeah, of course. I think 1-to-1. If you have to compare Madoka and Musica is just better because I guess Agard is good, and inherently you end up having Madoka assist, which is one of the best assists in the game right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
Madoka is a really good deck in my opinion.
Yeah, I just feel like it all comes down to if we are comparing both, it just goes down to the assists and
yeah,
like
I guess
I,
if
I
we're
just love the
talking
Madoka
about
assist.
yeah, I was gonna say I guess if we talk about like just the standalone card, it's probably a
Yeah,
5 because like the build around is good, the deck itself is like perfectly fine.
yeah,
But yeah, if we're not comparing like card for card, then yeah, I suppose it is worthy of a 5 because it's something to always like watch out for. It's kind of like Love It, where we rated it I think we rated Love It a 5 as well too. Just purely
uh,
based off the
yeah,
fact of
probably.
like what it can do as opposed to what it did do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah,
Even though I think Madoka will be like is played more than Love It, I feel like Love It doesn't have much to work with. While Madoka, you have all those on attack, discard one, draw one, or on enter, discard one, draw one,
hmm
and Hijikatas just work well with that, and you just put them online. And yeah, I feel like Madoka has more tools to play around with stuff than
hmm
Love It has at the moment.
yeah, that's fair.
yeah. And what I really like about the deck is just that your turn 2 uh, is a like got a meaning. Like you actually really need to play on your turn 2.
Yeah,
You're not
Yeah.
just waiting for your turn 3 to
I
do the
like the
bigger
deck
stuff.
archetype it spawns. It's fun to play and
Yeah,
it feels rewarding to play
yeah,
too. So
Hmm.
yeah. Really.
yeah, good good leader, really cool build around. But let's go to check out the next card here.
So next card is Tamago Drumroll, the new assist for Tamago, since now we also have Bang Central. And yeah, level 2 assist, cost 6, down all your Cygnis on your opponent's field. Mm, I don't. Mm, I like this card, but of course the next one, like it feels like just the first one we're seeing for every color is just worse than the one that is coming.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
fair.
you
Yeah.
can use you can use this because you anyway you have access to green, which means energy charging. So it's not like a dead card. You have it, and sometimes you might end up doing using it because probably for some reason have a 6 center. I think you can to some extent control the energy you have. So yeah, it's just I think people are not using it. I'm not really sure because I've seen Bang going around, but not that much to really say for sure.
hmm
People are just not playing this because it costs 6. You might be able to pay for it, but it's still 6 center you pay,
hmm
and you might not even need to down all your opponent's Cygnis.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like the reason this card is not played as often, it has like two reasons. One is that, like Madoka, you don't have the option to down one, two, or three Cygni. You have to like pay the full six and down everything. You don't have a choice. And the other
Yeah,
one is that since Bang wants you to level up your assists as fast as you can, to then just put everything beneath her to start giving Lancer to your Cygnis, this might take a while to just play it. And as we are gonna see on the next one is like way easier and faster to just level up. It's not a bad card because if you want to just down everything, I feel like sure go for it. But like those two things just make it not be played as much.
Yeah. I feel like the same also, like the one that's coming, you can just slap on board even if you like didn't need it. And yeah, the thing is with Ushu, the Ushu team, you just have to grow in a certain time frame because otherwise you're not using your central rig fully.
Yeah, Uchu being streamed into this, yeah, you have to grow as fast as possible kind of thing to get the most upside. Kind of rough. And each thing that you grow has to be. I think they always have to be defensive, and they have to stop either one or two attacks so that you're able to to lead up with like a high life cloth. So you can keep using your effect for the rest of the game while not dying like the following turn after you use it. Um, and yeah, I mean, for Uchu specifically, they have the enter to pay for this because they don't use their enter a lot. Um, once they use all their cheap grows, they have an abundance of enter, and so yeah. But the six cost is just too high, and I think it just pales in comparison to the next one. So to me, it's like it's still like a 2. It might be good in like a dream team, but I don't think it's good for Uchu.
I don't know what to give to this card because it's a decent card, but it's not gonna be played. So what are you talking about exactly? Like,
Yeah, I'm like that. I'm between 2 and 3. I'm not sure. Like
I just don't think it'll
some
be played
people
in
might.
Uchu. That's just me
Yeah,
personally.
yeah. Inuchu never.
I think
Just
I've never
because
seen a list with this.
Give it
like
time.
I can see it maybe. Oh, I can't remember Nova's effect, but maybe next set. But even then, it's
You
just
mean
you have the
Nova
team that
Sector?
need. Yeah, uh, that comes up next set. But as the whole thing is, you need to grow as fast as you can. So it's a bit hard to just play this instead of the next one.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for Nova though, if I remember correctly. Like
I mean,
it's still
you
six
just have
center.
to grow fast, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it basically enables your grind game.
we
Yeah, let's go
can
to the
talk about
next
the
one.
next one because it's a little it's simple,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah,
it's interesting enough to
yeah,
be
we're
okay.
kind of we're kind of already talking about it, but it's Tamago Jet Stick, the other Tamago Assist level 2. Enter ability, you pay 0 to grow it. It's just so easy to do it. And then you don target Cygni on your opponent's field, and you can pay colorless to draw 2 cards. This is just way better than the one before. You get resources out of it. You are able to down something for no cost at all. It's just overall a better card. And as we were saying, you want to level up your assists as fast as you can. So this is just a zero cost grow, stop a lane, and you can even draw 2 cards. Might get a servant to just guard their
The target.
central rig. Yeah.
Hmm. I don't really think there's like too much to talk about because like yeah, it works with the deck archetype. Bank Center doesn't have as much draw power. This gives it to it. It grows fast. It's 0 cost. The draw 2 is only for 1, so you're paying a total of 1 for this, and it's just like for if you want the cheap, reliable, defensive and or like defensive option, I think this is just the superior pick, and so that's why I don't think there's like too
Yeah.
much to talk about it. As far as like it for Bank Center, I think it's like a 4, but and like anything else, maybe like a 3 because it's pretty low impact. But yeah,
I
that's
mean, it
just my
does
opinion.
its work. Like it costs 1, it gives you resources you wouldn't have, and like usually down target, like if it's one target, it's fine. Like as long as it's at least one, it's
Yeah, and
fine.
you can draw into a
So you don't
guard,
have
so
to
you can say that this
worry.
thing defends you for 2 for 1. So it's like, that's nice.
So you don't have to worry if your opponent is NR starving you in some way. Like it's not gonna happen very likely, but like this just enters the game. Like I had some problem with the music assist level 2 because it enters with just one enter, so
Yeah,
it was rough to stop.
let's go ahead and move on. It's a very simple card. It's obviously good. These next two are going to be very very basic too. Um, we can probably rate these at the same time. And I'll probably actually just read both of these, and then Tetra can read the first SR.
Sure.
So we're gonna have Tamago Beating. Put target level 1 Cygni on your opponent's field onto the bottom of their deck. This is just a main phase grow, and then we have the Tamago Double Stroke Roll, which is just main phase draw 2. These are both very simplistic, and as we stated before, there's like a baseline rating for these plussing and removal level ones. I think they're always going to be a 3 because they're both viable options. It just depends on how you want to play them, and I personally don't think there's like too much to talk about. Tamago can be worse than others in some regard because it can only target level 1, but it has the added benefit that it bot decks it so that they don't get the enter. So it can be better in that case too. But it's like it's very niche and
It's preferential.
yeah.
I don't even know how to rate them because, like, by nature, level ones don't have that much of an impact. Like, you can't rate, I don't know, Sanga Aerial, 5 because it's a low impact. Like, it doesn't impact the game as much as other cards, but of course, he is like one of the best, if not the best, assist for Musica. To give
Yeah,
an
in terms of
example.
like how in terms of like damage push.
Like this is 3 and 5. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
maybe
me
good.
these cards are just solid 3s. It's just draw 2 and then a removal. I
Yeah.
think all these level 1s are always going to be like this unless
Unless they're bad.
Yeah, unless they're bad or something does something crazy. But these are very basic. So
Yeah.
yeah, we can move on to the royal blue.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Royal Blue Natural Crystal Brilliance, the first SR for blue. 10k, level 3, target frozen action, pay cost 0. Target frozen Cygni on your opponent's field, gains aura at the beginning of the attack phase, vanish this Cygni unless you pay 2. And one of the most crazy triggers in the game, in my opinion, like freeze target Arigo and target Cygni on your opponent's field. This is good. Problem. I think after this card, I'm happy for the freeze mechanic is not that good. But yeah, the problem is just freeze is not as good as other strategies. But the fact you can just froze your opponent's stuff for free and even get that vanish out of it for 2 enter. Yeah, I think it is just good. Also, in late game, maybe it's just a straight up removal because your opponent can even afford to pay 2, or your opponent has to face has to actually choose if you want to pay for it, or just let it die. And freeze that doesn't have a whole lot of removals. So this might be good just for removing stuff. And the trigger is crazy. I will play this card even just for the trigger. Yeah, for the freeze mechanic is a pretty good thing in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I feel like if you're playing freeze, sure, you should go for this. This is just giving you removal on a deck that until now, like the freeze mechanic is still not that great, but with this set and cards that came out in this set, it just made it way better. This just makes your opponent or lose their enter or just lose a Cygni. The trigger, as you said, is just a really good one. Once again, I don't like to run cards just because of their life bursts because I never get a single one. But but if you get it, it's like a really good thing and it will help a lot. You can just freeze both things. The only problem I see is that it's a 10k. I try to run the least 10ks I can just because it dies to a lot of things. I repeat myself a lot with this every time, but I feel like that's something important to say. In the
Thing is,
freeze.
sorry if I interrupt you a second, but this kind of deck, I think you're never facing your opponent. Your opponent can choose if they wanna deafening inferno you. Like you're not gonna see your opponent with stuff on board, much energy and many cards in hand, ready to kill your stuff.
Mhm.
Of course, 12k, 13k is better than 10, but is not that much of a problem, in my opinion. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. Like, of course, it's better 12k.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like the freeze archetype go, this is like an obvious like staple 4 of. I don't think like you can run any less copies of this in your deck if you're playing any type of freeze like strategy. So it's like it's just a straight up staple in my mind for that archetype. But the fact that it gives it removal is nice. This is like the first actual removal that lets you push damage for freeze, because all the other freeze related removals during like the end phase, and the only other one costs 5, which is the Great Reversal. Uh, but yeah, the trigger on this is pretty amazing. I've won games because I hit this like 2 times in a row, leaving like my opponent's Elric frozen for 2
Come
whole
on,
turns.
come on.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
and so it can be very frustrating to play against. But yeah, you guys have pretty much talked it up the most. I do think like the card's amazing, so
Yeah,
it's good
I
for
could see
freeze, but
this.
not like great in general.
I could see this even being played in blue in general. Like, I wouldn't feel like it. It could be a thing, just because like there are situations where this just wins you get the game. Maybe you went first, second, and you have to buy one more turn because your opponent Eric is attacking one more time, like on the fourth turn. And I don't know, like
Yeah, I think there's probably
you
some
might be
like
playing
half
this.
freeze builds for this, like where you're
Yeah.
running like maybe just like Fenrir and you're growing fast and like a Tamago
Yeah.
deck, so you could play this down on like turn 3. So,
And
but yeah,
even just the decks that have blue but don't use it and use folklore, you can make the same argument for this card maybe, but usually there's not as much space for level threes. But if you do have space, I think you can splash this just for the trigger.
yeah, I only think that
Maybe.
or that reliably works in a format where like card jockey is
Yeah.
like less desired, because obviously freezing over against card jockey doesn't work. Um, but it's like regardless, it's still like an amazing trigger.
I mean, even against card jockey, their turn 4 is crazy. I think
Yeah, yeah, they only
the
get
turn
one turn
4,
of attacking with the
yeah,
down thing, so there is timings to use it.
yeah. It's a very, very big deal for card jockey Lion to go first.
It also does not work against Love It.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah.
yeah, we can move on. This card's
All
sick.
right. This card is pretty cool. ZRO2, Natural Element Queen, Cygni level 3, 12k. Harmony, you need to down a black Elric, so you're basically playing this on Madoka, or you are in a Dream Team. And it says auto, whenever this Cygni attacks, you may pay colorless. If you do target Cygni on your opponent's field, get minus 3k power until the end of turn. If your opponent has discarded 2 or more cards this turn, that Cygni get minus 8k. So it's basically on that deck, it's basically a on attack minus 8k, pay 1. And when it enters, you can pay a blue and draw a card. You can draw a card, or your opponent discards a card at random. Discarding cards and making your opponent discard cards at random is always awesome. Having an on attack minus 8k for just a colorless, it's just you can just clean lanes during the attack phase, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, this card overall is just really good, to be honest. Uh, you want to run this on Madoka, and that's just it. It's just a really great card overall.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I've obviously played a lot of Madoka. This card feels pretty much amazing every time I do play it. The only thing I can add, however, in Madoka particularly, is that because you're sitting back on defensive options and you do only have access to 1/3 um, on turn 3 most often, the numbers do work out a little weirdly. because there's stuff like you want to play like Dark Energy, or Laling as well. So it does compete with all the other good level 3s, but just being able to slam this down, make your opponent discard or card at random, you get to draw or intercharge one off Madoka, and then you play like a random drain to be able to pump its effect to make it minus AK, is like, it's really good. And you can also just do like the very simple things uh like putting Lancer in one lane and then making this threaten to pop another lane. So yeah, this card's rad. I love this card.
I like it too. As you said, you maybe like most times you don't end up using the first effect, but is an option, and you're really using your its second effect, which is very useful. It gets you that one more discard you need, and it's also really cheap. Also, the harmony cost is almost non-existent because you don't even play Phalaris. So you always have at least one copy of this live, and if you really need, you can even just play two and trash both. Because like it doesn't matter if it gets downed. You can just use the effect 2 times and trash everything and play your actual attackers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to feel about the vote on this card. It's just a staple, but at the same time, is like it's not like the deck dies if it doesn't have this. But it's really good. I
Yeah,
don't know
the
for
the
five
only
for me
reason why
too.
I'm gonna say it's a 5 is because even while it's not like the absolute best card in Madoka, if we think about like just like future stuff, maybe with Dream Teams, this is one of Blue's only way to have removal, and with that being the idea, I definitely think that this card is like worthy of a 5 because it will stay relevant for that fact, in my opinion. I don't know if it's gonna be like that come later if you're gonna be able to be playing this in like a Dream Team deck, even though like you are easily able to if you go like black and blue, but it's always going to be a considerable option. It's always going to be one of the best options from what I've seen. So
Yeah, probably.
yeah. All right.
Oh, your
Uh,
favorite card.
oh yeah, my favorite card. This is Amabi, Azure Angel Queen. At the beginning of your attack phase, if you have 3 or more angels, you draw a card. And then whenever the Cygni attacks, if you have 15 or more angels, you may pay a blue and a white, or a colorless, and freeze target Elric on your opponent's field. And then as a life burst to add a level 2 angel from your trash and a level 1 angel from your trash onto your field. Um, yeah, so you put a level 2 in your hand and then a level 1 into the field, which is pretty cool. So it's like a +2. So as for payoffs for angels, this is literally the best one. Heaven's Door is not a considerable option, but if you want to play angels, this is like legitimately like a good card. Um, and you can keep using this just to keep freezing your opponent's Elrig each turn, and you can like put them pretty much on like a lock. It's pretty cool. I've actually seen servantless angel builds that play this, um, where the whole intention is just to keep freezing the Elrig. But I will say angels are still not good. But this is like probably going to be one of the best payoffs for it, for angels. Um, and like considering that, I'm gonna say it's like a 4 for angels, but like it's like a 2 overall for like obviously anything else. Actually, I can't
Uh,
even rate it in splash ability because you can't splash it anywhere else aside from angel. So yeah, it's just a 4 in angel specifically.
yeah, this is the card that specifically made me want to build angels. I looked at the angels card and there wasn't any. So yeah, like this, as you said, this is a great tool. Like if you're playing angels, but you're not playing angels, so I'll, I will not go farther than that. Like it's a really great card, but you can't play the deck, so I don't even know what to give this card. Like
Yeah, like I said, obviously in angels and even for
unknown.
the future, I think this is always going to be like an option you play. I don't know. I don't know like any other angels that do come out as well, but um, I feel like this has to be one of the best payoffs for it because like I mean freezing an Elrig is like crazy against a lot of decks that Yeah, just like every deck, honestly.
As we said for Royal Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like being able to freeze your opponent's outbreak on attack is just really good. And it's just pay 2, so it's not even like an exaggerated cost or anything. It's
Yeah.
just a blue and a colorless. And it's pretty cool. You put a bit of mill in the deck, and you can easily get those 15 angels for sure. Yeah, in angels, I feel like this is a 4. But in the game, the meta in general, right now, you can't
It's a
play
0.
angels, so.
Yeah.
Right now is 1.
Okay.
Also 15 or more angels, so you strictly have to have a full angel build.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much for the
That's the
most.
main
Yeah.
problem.
But that's fine. It's a good payoff.
Yeah. Yo, into the next card, we get to see the one of the only blue cards that are not good. Level
Yep.
level 3 12k Konako Master Trickster. If there is a face down card in one of your Cygni zones, draw 1 card. I believe this works with the Interlude Diva. How was she called? The Labyrinth one?
Umer.
No, the Cygni.
Oh, the Cygni.
SR.
Oh, you're talking about
The most worthless SR in the game.
I
That
don't I don't
In
labyrinth
any
actually.
sense.
one.
Oh, Labyrinth. Yeah.
It's I think it's a labyrinth. I don't remember
It
the
is,
proper
but
name, but
I don't remember the name as
yeah.
of right now. But yeah, I believe this works only with that or with other few things, and I don't know. This is another card I can't rate because it's nothing you can play. This is more unplayable. Like the face down mechanic is more unplayable than Angels. There's not even support for it. No, like Angels does have support, but it's even less.
This card sucks. This card's
Like
bad.
I believe even if this face down mechanic was a thing, like you wouldn't be playing this anyways.
Yeah. Draw 1
Like
card.
if
OP.
Yeah.
if this was
Oh,
like a face down support and this was like a level 1, maybe you would be
yeah,
playing it.
level 1 10K, 12K.
Yeah, and now not 12k, but like if this effect was
This
on a
is the only way.
level 1 and face down was a deck that you could play and had a lot of support, maybe a level 3 12k with this effect. No, thank you.
Yeah.
And why do I get the better one next time
It's
again?
pack filler, man.
With these
Yeah.
premises, with these premises, yeah, it had to be level 1 12K to be playable.
Yeah.
Just that. Only way, literally.
All right. So why do I always get these? Why?
Your
Level to
favorite.
Cygni, my favorite type of cards, Dorado, Natural Planet, 10k, draw 2 cards, your opponent discards a card. Sure, go play this in Madoka. I don't care. I don't like these cards. I will say it every time. Life bursts are shit. I don't like to run cards just for life bursts. Unless they are like super OP, and even then, I don't usually run them. Maybe that's why I lose so much, but I never get a life burst down there, so sure, play this wherever you want. I don't care. It's vanilla.
Yeah. Like aside from Eden's rant on the life burst, uh, I don't even think Dorado is good. Like, my problem is Folklore exists in blue, so it's like, why would you play
Yeah.
this? Even with the Madoka synergy, it's like,
Yeah.
I'd rather just play Folklore.
Yeah. You will play this if Folklore didn't have the draw 1 effect, maybe. Because you would have to choose between resources and defenses. Folklore gives you both
Yeah.
to an extent, of course.
There's, I don't even think there's a place for this in any build. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna give it a 1. It's like pretty mediocre.
Nah.
That's fair.
outside.
It reads draw cards, man. It has to be good.
Yeah, yeah. It's 10k.
Okay. Okay.
Are you gonna argue with that?
No. We can go ahead and move on to the next card. So I believe this is my card. This is
This.
Hichikata Azure General. If you've discarded one or more cards, this gets 3k power, and then if you discarded two or more cards, whenever the Cygni vanishes a Cygni through combat, your opponent discards a card at random. This is like 80% of the reason Madoka's playable. Like this on turn 2 with Bless Key is like insanely strong, right? Or like it's like really strong if you have like double of these. And if you decide to like grow like aggressively, you can even like sometimes have 3 of these. But I think this is like one of Blue's best cards for like the whole self discard archetype. This is like the really big payoff for all of this.
Yeah, Hichikata enables the deck like 0-2, which we've seen before. Doesn't enable a deck just because it's an SR, but Hichikata really does, and like gives something to the deck. Like it's probably the only deck where like the turn 2 really have a meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you actually do big stuff on your turn 2, and it's integral to your turn 3, and also the turn 2 has to go well. You really want to see your Ichikatas, and you have like you will play some cards to dig through your deck just to find Ichikatas and to enable Ichikata, of course. And yeah, it's just really strong how like you can do end control and don't even have to remove your opponent's stuff to like impact on their gameplay.
Yeah, I just feel like this is like one of the cards that made me want to play Madoka. Because one of the problems that I feel like I have in Musica Center is that I don't really have an early game. The deck just kind of starts popping off at level 3. And this just gives like Diagram an early advantage, just an early game plan, let's say it like that. I just kind of like the card a lot.
Yeah, my favorite like board states with this is going like double Hichikata, then like the any level 1, and then putting Lancer on the level 1 while the Hichikatas are enabled, because then um you're basically getting rid of 4 cards with Hichikata. You're vanishing 2 of your opponent's Cygni, and then you're knocking 2 cards out of their hand, and then you're still pushing a single damage with the Lancer lane. And it also just puts them in like a tough position to like figure out what they want to remove. But this card's a hot 5 for me.
Yeah, me too.
I love this card. This card's awesome.
Almost forgot about this grading.
Even though I never opened double Hichikata, I still love this card.
I mean, just dig.
This card's in my life.
Yeah.
Just
in my
draw
life half the
more.
time.
It's like it's also cool that it's on turn 2, so your opponent is not even actually removing them with assist Eric's.
Yeah, if you go first.
Your battle at least.
Not unless you go against the Nova Mute.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and check out the next card.
Yeah.
Should be Tetra.
Yep. Next up is Gagil Azure Angel. Is one of the enablers for Hichikata. When this Cygni attacks, draw a card and discard a card, and do the same thing when enters. Level 2, 8k blue. Trigger is don't target Cygni on your opponent's field and freeze it, draw a card. Basically, the evergreen freezing life burst. And yeah, it's just an overall good card. It like the freeze, like the usual freeze life burst is kind of good, and yeah, it makes you dig through your deck to find your Ishikatas because basically, like let's be real, you will play this pretty much just for Ishikata. Like that's the context this card works best. and yeah, it's just an overall good level 2. Also is an 8k, so it's not just an enabler, but a big body your opponent has to deal with, whether it is on turn 2 or turn 3. Yeah, a good card in my opinion.
Yeah, just overall, like you said, it's an enabler for Hichikata. The the life burst is not that bad. Again, me and life bursts. God damn it. But this life burst that is not it's kind of good. And yeah, it's just a card that you use to enable your Ichikatas. You just go through your deck looking for the pieces you need and the cards you want. Which is an overall really nice card.
Yeah, double filter being printed on a card is pretty nice. In like any capacity, whatever, and like you can even splash this in like just random builds if you just want the filter and like the decent trigger, even if you're like not on Hichikata. The upside is that it is like a one card Hichikata enabler if you're playing Hichikata with it. So although I don't think this card like is like meta defining or like a staple by any means, but um it's like utility is like always going to be used, I think, in like some cases.
It's consistency for your Ichikawa, for your Madoka deck, in my opinion. Like it's not even epic when you play Madoka. It's
Mm-hmm.
just something more you know you can rely on if you need that one more discard. If you even just wanna do that like before going to battle,
Mm-hmm.
so because it like you will have a limit of 5 most likely on your turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
So you will have like your best board is 2 Katas and a level 1. So you will like you're not very likely like it's not your best board going to attack phase with this. But yeah, it's just one more thing you can drop on board to trade out 1 for 1 to enable the Ichikata.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I just, God damn it, I just feel like if you're playing a deck that wants you to draw or discard, this is just until we get something better than this. This is just a card that you always are gonna be playing on those decks. I
Mm-hmm.
feel
Yeah, probably.
like we're gonna see on next set too, but we'll talk about that afterwards. But yeah, as of right now, you wanna drawing this card for your effects. You running in Madoka. Yeah, it's just overall just works well with everything.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and check out the next one. Oh,
Oh, is this one mine?
yep.
Yes.
All right, so it's level 1 Cygni Hasi, Phenom Aquatic Beast. Constant, as long as you have 4 or more cards in your hand, this Cygni gets plus 4k, and it has a life burst that says if you have 4 or more cards in your hand, vanish target up Cygni on your opponent's field. It's basically a 7k, level 1. Um, there's not, yeah, there's like not much more to talk about. The life burst, of course, you need to have 4 cards in your hand, but you're playing Madoka. You will be drawing, you'll be discarding. You most likely will have 4 cards in hand the majority of the time. The life burst is pretty good on a level 1, I feel like, because you just need to have your 4 cards in, and you can vanish an up Cygni, which can be really strong at the right time. And a 7k level 1 is always good. Um, just get those walls going, and yeah.
um, so for like these like level 1 7Ks that we are consistently seeing more and more, I do like this card a lot. However, the life first makes me really angry because blue is known for having some caveat to to anything that says removal or any way to push damage. And cards like Deafening Inferno, Tobiel, um, they say Vanish and Up Cygni. For this one, you have to have 4 more cards in hand to be able to do that because it is a blue card specifically. Um, and I still think the card is great, but it just makes me angry that they like refuse to give removal to blue at like any decent cost, and there always has to be just some odd caveat to that. but I
Yeah.
still like this card.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
usually
this,
can't have the 4 cards in hand on diagram if
you
it
said
comes
you
up.
before said like you would have cards because you draw, but you pretty much do all like unless it's the once per game of Madoka or the DPs like how's it called? Chime of the Blesky. Like you're never going plus pretty much. So usually diagram is pretty short on cards, so I wouldn't see you play this in diagram. Maybe in No Limit. I think I've seen this, and like maybe for the next set when we get 3 and we like need more access to the blue color. But also like I think Raid draws much, but yeah, like as long as you can enable hair effect like air effects like often, like your deck draws, you can afford to play this unless it might just be a risk. But yeah, like on your first turn, you usually don't end unless than 4 cards. That's really a good card. I really like this.
Yeah, any
Yeah,
deck that
it's
has a plussing assisto rig at level 1 can probably always enable this, because pretty much every plussing level 1 assist
yeah,
rig draws you 2. So with any opening, you should always be able to enable this if you want to play this on
yeah.
turn 1. So it's a good it's a pretty easy one for at least the 7K
Yeah.
bodies go, which I like.
Yeah, like for the other 7Ks we've seen like they had worse condition than this, so this is really fine.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can give this a 3 probably.
Okay, let's check out the next one. So this is
Okay.
my card, I believe, right? Yeah. This is Snow Mew, Code Maze. At the end of your turn, if your opponent has 2 or more frozen Cygni, you get to bot deck one of them. And then you freeze target Cygni in your opponent's center, so basically the middle. For the freeze archetype, this card is pretty good. It gives you a different alternative removal as opposed to Bradamante. Bradamante vanishes and then makes your opponent discard a card, but if you don't want to give your opponent the enter or your opponent doesn't have any cards, this is like the best alternative. It doesn't have a life burst, so it's a pretty easy slot in. However, it's still it's still during the end phase. You don't get to open the lane, but for the freeze archetype, I think this card's like it's pretty alright. It's still strong, but I don't think it's like the freeze is just bad, as we've said it before.
Mm. I actually think for the fact you can slap this better in any deck, I think it's actually harder to put in Cygnis without life burst, or at least in my deck building experience, usually that's the case. But talking about the card, yeah, it's not really great to push damage, and I mean great because a level 2 that removes a lane this easily could be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just one more tool to make a freeze good one day, maybe copium. So, like I've seen a mono blue list running this, and like this of course it wasn't the greatest card, but is another freeze enabler. So if you like, I want the consistency on that side, you can use this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a like it's a level 1, so you might need this. There are a couple level 1s that freeze, I guess, or 3 that just on enter straight up like just freeze. And like if you want to have a full level 1s that freeze on enter, you can have this. I don't think it's particularly great though, even for the freeze archetype. But I don't know. What you guys think?
I think on enter freeze is really nice. It's said that it can only freeze the center Cygni of your opponent, but it gives removal to freeze, which is something that was needed because before there wasn't much. It was just freeze and you stay there. And as you said, it's at the end of the turn, but just helps a bit. Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be played in freeze for some time. I can't remember what else we get for freeze on the next few sets, but I just feel like this is something that we'll see play for sure. Even though freeze is shit right now, but yeah.
Um, yeah, I think for free specifically, this card is like a 3 because I feel like there's just I mean there really isn't enough good like freeze oriented cards in the first place, and this card actually like has text as opposed to just like on play freeze.
hmm
So in a freeze specific deck, yeah, but in like a vacuum, it's like a hop like 1 because I mean freeze just isn't that
It's
strong.
freeze.
Yeah, but in freeze specifically, I think you have to play this. So.
I'm not even sure what how to vote this card because like he's the like usually the cards that freeze just have the effect of freezing and that's it. But is that good? Having that kind of removal. You guys tell me because I
I
don't know
mean,
better.
I was just gonna say, I from my experience with freeze, it's just like you kind of take any removal you get, and Bradamante is just a little bit more awkward because it's like a 2 card combo where as this one can be like effectively like a 1 card like
But you have
enabler for
stuff
itself.
like to beat over your opponent's stuff.
Yeah, but you don't
Oh,
look to do that in
uh,
freeze. You don't like you don't ever. The only time you ever attack in freeze is when you're attacking under, when you're attacking with chandelier to deny more enter. Because the whole point of freeze is just deny enter as much as
but
possible.
like that's the thing. Like it goes to bottom of the other deck though.
Yeah, so you discard their whole hand and then you bot deck their field. That's like you do everything you can to give him or to never give him enter and
Nothing.
take yeah you just make it so you go into double loss.
Okay, I can give this a three.
Okay. Let's go to check out the next card then.
Okay, next one is Akata's Angel. Level 1 3k. Enter effect. Look at top 3 cards. Put any number of them on the put any number of them on the bottom of your deck in any order, and the rest on top of your deck in any order. It's top 3 stacking, which is good. Like actually, Scarada made me change my mind a bit about this card, just because yeah, like you don't actually have many tools always in every deck to do stuff. Like people played these over a 5k double color that you were playing just because it was like a filler Cygni, and like being able to do something on your like especially when you're short on resources, maybe your deck doesn't draw as much. I guess it's good being able to manipulate to an extent your next draws. Okay. uh, but I didn't know. But I didn't know, and now you will cut this. um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Decent card. File.
Yeah, I've tried playing this for a stupid strategy, but overall, I really like this card. Like the ability to just look at what's coming and manipulate that and everything. I think if you have space in your deck, this is a pretty nice tech to just go over your deck, go over your cards, see what you want on top, see what you want on bottom. Just overall, just helps you get what you want and all of that. And if you're playing something that can draw, it just helps even more.
Mhm.
I think it's just a nice card overall.
Yeah, this card
Also,
has like a myriad of uses. It it like somehow helps the Cosmo archetype by being able to stack your level ones to hit them if you don't have like your Saturn. It's like a all around decent card because you get to like stack your draws for either your next turn or if you have like a draw two, you can use it then. And I mean for like just like a slot in, like a random slot in for blue, if you have access to it, this card's like just it's just solid. So it's a good card.
Also, you might want to use this to know if you want to commit to some draws. Like maybe you will draw to dig for some servants, but if you know they're not there, like why would you do that? Yeah,
Yeah, this card's really clean. It's just that it's just really
I
nice.
clean three. I clean three.
Yeah, I don't think it's like
It's
meta
useful.
changing, but it's there's a couple uses it has.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, let's check out the last card.
All right, this is mine. It's a spell, costs 1 blue, called Spinning Harmony. Freeze target Cygni on your opponent's field and draw a card. Then, if there are 3 or more frozen Cygni on your opponent's field, your opponent discards a card at random. If you're playing freeze, this is just a spell that you want to run, basically. It just makes you draw, makes your opponent discard, and freezes a Cygni for 1 cost. It's just really good. I know for the second part of the effect, you need to have frozen 3 Cygni, but this is a spell you'll be playing it whenever you have the other 2 frozen, which is not that hard. So yeah, if you're playing freeze, when it even gets better, if it does, because right now we know we have been talking about it for the whole blue archetype, most likely. But yeah, if you're playing freeze, this is one of the spells you want to be running. Probably a 4-off too.
I don't know about the 4-all.
Yeah, I'm not
Because you will play
too sure about a
around. The
4
fact
of,
is,
but
you will play a random drain,
mhm.
probably.
Oh
That's
yeah,
straight up a stable, so
Yeah.
maybe 2
that's
or
true.
3 though, if you want to really go hard.
Pay 1 freeze is still like fine, and it cycles itself. So
Yeah.
yeah, like
It's
I
not like
was.
2
you're
or 3
using
up
your
for sure.
Renner, right? It's
Yeah.
not like you're using a Renner.
True.
So yeah, like it could enable effects like snow, just straight up like for fun, freeze your opponent's whole board.
Yeah. This card's
Just
hype.
like clean up your phrases. Yeah,
It's
I think it's a 3 as well.
yeah, I think this is a 3 as well for just like freeze. I mean, like even in a vacuum, like I said, pay 1 freeze, draw a card. It's like pretty fine on its own.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Basically, if you have frozen 3 Cygni on your opponent's field, it's basically a random drain
Yeah,
with
exactly.
freeze.
Upside, which is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's it for the whole set. Um, what you guys think of this set like as a whole?
Um,
Go ahead.
Blue gets a bit better freeze things and not much. Black has 1 good card. White has 1 good card. Green is still shit. Red, I don't even know what to think about it. And then I think the pieces are what's better.
Mhm,
But I feel
Decent,
like,
are playable,
mhm.
yeah,
are
but
not to
like,
trash the at all.
yeah, I just feel like blue is the one that got the best toys, and then the other cards got like 1 or 2 good cards in the whole color pool.
Mhm.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Like if we don't count the Erics, which is like a must if you want to play like certain center Erics, and you just
Yeah.
count the main deck
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Yeah, most things probably got 1 or 2 good cards like that you see and go, oh okay, I could actually play this. The rest is just pretty much pack filler probably, or like usable in the future, or just more options for the present.
Yeah. This set's like it's like pretty mid. I mean, it spawns like I said. Yeah, blue got pretty much like the whole package here. They got a lot of like actual playable cards because I mean it was they didn't have any, but there's a lot of decent cards for possibly the future in this set, like cards that we'll definitely look back on. Um, but they just don't shine in this set. Yeah, I mean like this set like yeah overall just like pretty mid. The SRs are whatever. The commons and rares are like just okay. But yeah, that's pretty much my opinion of the set. I mean, I'm very excited for
Yeah.
next set. I think there's going to be a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, probably.
for
Also,
sure.
like in the context of the next set,
Mhm.
the like some of these cards will be playable,
Yeah,
like a Shield
exactly.
of
Yeah.
Bravery. This set and the next set probably like constitutes the decency of one normal set. You can count these and the next set as one set.
Yeah.
The
True.
like if you wanna have them up to speed with other sets, probably. Like if you wanna compare them to Glowing Diva.
Alright.
Yeah, it's just Glowing Diva is so good, probably.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that does wrap it up. For anybody who watched, I appreciate it. Please leave a like and subscribe and comment. Let me know what you guys think of this whole set too. And once again, check out Eden's channel. His channel will be linked in the description down below. And
Thank you.
find Tetra on Discord. Play in tournaments. Maybe he goes X2.
One time. That's one time.
Well, we'll catch you guys in the
The
next
one
set.
time was enough. Come on.
God damn.